Welcome to the Empowered Woman Podcast, the #1 show on visibility strategies for women entrepreneurs. If you want to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice and business, you're in the right place. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marcia Spurk, and I'm your host, professional singer and visibility strategist. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. One thing I don't talk about enough is the impact podcasting has had on my professional life and how it opened so many doors for me. So if you want to start a podcast or you want to level up your current one, then you need to work with my podcast strategist, Juliana Barbati. She owns a podcast marketing and production agency, and her team takes care of everything from editing and optimizing to scheduling for you, making this process a breeze for you. She's seriously the best. All her info is in the show notes. You can go to julianabarbati.com and tell her I sent you. Something completely unexpected happened last week that I did not know it was coming. It was a total surprise, and it was amazing, which was, you may remember that for a while, I had been talking about Kathrin Zenkina, Manifestation Babe, the Manifestation Babe here on the show. And then I talked about getting a scholarship to her program, doing her program that is a 5-month program. That was something that I had known about for years, that I had been wanting to do. And then as I was doing the program, they do a contest inside the program for best transformation, which basically means you taking the time to complete the program, which by being a scholarship student, I had to be accountable to complete it because that was part of the agreement. I had to complete it. And then recording a before and an after video. And not many people, let's just be honest, finish the program because people drop off, life happens, or they just take longer to complete the program. And then they don't follow these steps. And you know me, how competitive I am and how much of a A+ student I pride myself to be. And also, again, because of that accountability and because I practice what I preach, I've talked about here on the show about when you're a part of a program, show up. Become a celebrity in that program, become known, become visible, support others. And that's what I did. And so I followed through the steps and I won the contest because then people vote for the videos and people voted for my video the most. And one of the prizes, which it was such an amazing, Kathrin is so giving and I love that about her. Not only did she mail things to me that, are her favorite products when it comes to dry brushing, essential oils. Oh my gosh, so many different things that I looked up some of the things that I didn't even know existed. And it was over $1,000 in products. And probably the best prize of all was getting to have a one-on-one call with her where I could ask her anything, get coached by her, etc. And I had an amazing call with her. And then obviously, as we were wrapping up the call, I asked, would you be available for me to interview you on my show? And she said yes. And if you follow Kathrin, you know that over the summer last year, she took a sabbatical. And that was the first time in years of her having her business and after becoming a mom that she took that big of a break, that long of a break. And then right after I was talking to her assistant about scheduling a time, they emailed me and said, hey, I don't know if you follow Kathrin on social, but she's decided to take a break for the summer. We'll schedule something when she's back. And I was like, oh, wah, wah, wah. All good. The summer came and went, and I was still following her journey on Instagram, and I realized that she was back. So I was like, you know what? You don't get 100% of the things you don't ask for. So I decided to email her assistant back and say, hey, I noticed Kathrin's back and I was wondering if it would be possible for us to schedule time. And right away, she was like, yep, how about this day? Sweet. So come the day, she shows up. And not only she shows up, she stays with me recording for an hour. I have interviewed big people before and they will rush as fast as possible, not give very complete answers. And I understand people are busy and thank you so much, Ray. I'm very grateful for them taking the time to talk to somebody that is not Oprah. But that was not the experience that I had at all. And granted, we had talked before. She knew me, but it was just such confirmation of what an amazing human being she is. So this is to say, wow, what a journey from me just mentioning her on my shows and saying I admire her to being in her program, getting to connect with her one-on-one, and then interviewing her on my podcast. But my friends, it did not end there. Last week, because I remember after I recorded the episode, I think she asked me while we were on Zoom, and then I think her assistant asked me too and said, can you send the recording once you have it? And I just sent her the raw video and audio from Zoom. And I thought maybe they'll make reels out of this. I don't know, whatever. I never minded it. My friends, last week, she posted the entire episode on her show that she has millions, like 8 million, I don't even know, downloads, and it's in the top 20% of podcasts. And it came out, and she gave me a huge shout out saying, I'm busy, and I thought I would make things easier for me right now, which is repost an interview where I really go in depth about the manifestation steps that I teach, which she did. And she gave so much value, and it was an amazing episode, which you can go back and listen on this show. And then she said, go check out Marta. Go check out the Empowered Woman podcast. And I had so many people start following my personal and my podcast account on Instagram and messaging me, hey, I just listened to your episode of Kathrin and it was amazing. Hey, I wanted to get to know you and your podcast more because I just saw it. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at the ripples, right? From me taking that initial step, which was completing a scholarship application. Anyways, on that episode, first things first, when I start the interview, I was like, this is such a dream come true. I remember telling my listeners here on the show that one day I would interview you, and here we are. And she was like, you're going to have to record an episode talking about the steps that you took. And I was like, I will. So here's me fulfilling my promise to Kathrin that I would record. And also because of all the new followers that I have now that came from her that want to get to know me and understand what I did to do this, because it was such a dream come true. And then to have her repost this and tag me and talk about me was really the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, all the good stuff. And I also want to say, because as I've been having conversations with people that came from this experience, we're talking about her program, Manifestation Babe Academy, MBA for short, and saying, what was your biggest takeaway? And as I started sharing some of the takeaways, it really took me back to lots of realizations that I had while taking her program that have led me to be where I am with my music. So here's the other exciting thing that happened last week too. It was so many amazing things. I released my very first music video. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I was not doing any type of music when I first started this business and this podcast almost 6 years ago, and the business almost 8 years ago. The music thing has been a more recent thing. And me looking back and acknowledging this is making me so excited about what's to come and making me want to share more with you about this journey. So where I'm going to start with this is my favorite takeaways from the program, because the takeaways from Kathrin's program really set the stage for me getting her on the show, right? Getting to interview her, winning the one-on-one with her, but also into me really saying, I'm just going to release my music. I am going to tell the world I'm a professional singer and let that be that and see where it takes me. And okay, so let's start with my favorite takeaways. And by far, the best insight, because there were so many, obviously, many things that I learned in her program. I have learned the power of you really reflecting about what you want and writing it in so many different ways. I will admit, I have taken so many coaching programs in the last 8 years, and not every time do I print out the workbooks and worksheets that the coaches suggest and fill them out. Sometimes I'll think, I'll think of the answers in my head. How many of you have done that? And you don't get the same benefit because you are not actively reflecting when you do that. And so what I decided to do, because again, of the accountability, look at the power of accountability, because I won a scholarship. So let me just backtrack for a second and tell you how this works. So it's not every round that she opens up this program that she puts out the scholarship. I have noticed that because ever since I got the scholarship, I've had friends that are like, I want to apply. And it's not every round that she puts it together. I kid you not, when I got the email, so first things first, I had taken just before that one program that she usually does every end of the year called Epically Aligned, which is a 5-day thing for you to set the tone for the next year. So she does it in December for you to think about the upcoming year. And that was like $222. I was like, I can afford this. Let's go for it. And after that, that is somewhat of her launch for her big 5-month program. After that, she's like, hey, I'm getting ready to launch, get on the wait list, etc. And then she put out an email saying, I am going to open up applications for BIPOC people. And with me being Brazilian, being Latina, I was like, I can apply for this. And when she sent out that email and I saw that, something inside of me said, you are going to get it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to pay attention to when the next email comes in so that I don't miss out the deadline and fill out the application. And a few days later, the email came in, I filled out the application, and I was like, all right. And then there's the wait time until they get back to you. And then I got the email, you have been selected and you need to put in a deposit. I think it was $200 or something like that. And upon completion of the program, 5 months from now, you will receive this money back. So you put in a deposit and then you have to commit to completing the program. And in case I didn't complete the program, hey, $200 and I can complete it whenever, whatever. But like I said, it's me. I will complete the program. I will do exactly what you tell me to do so that I can achieve my next step. And I remember I was at a time in my business. So that was in 2022. I was just publishing my first book. I was just doing the TEDx, and I went through a really complex time emotionally with achieving so many things back to back, where I was like, I don't even know what I want anymore. I have reached the apex. I've published a book. I've done a TEDx. What else is there to do? I've reached 6 figures in my business. What's the next milestone? Why bother? I don't even want my business anymore. Like, I was going through all these things and I was like, I know I won't take any kind of program that's like reach your 7 figures. Like, I knew I didn't want that. And the hustle and the worry about what's my next launch? Where are my next clients coming from? I knew what I wanted was I need to figure out who I am and I need to go within. And this is the perfect time. So it was perfect timing because this is the time for me to go through a 5-month program that is going to show me more about me and help me figure out what I really want. And then I started the program. So the program started in February of 2022. It was, I want to say around April or May, that doing one of those exercises, because pretty much every week or so, she would release a new module. And with that module, there would be a workbook. And I would print the workbook and it would be 5 to 10 pages of things for you to answer. And I did every single one of them. And she would have clear instructions of don't overthink this, just write whatever comes to mind and keep on going. And it was in one of those exercises, after writing it so many times and answering so many questions, that a desire of mine came up that I didn't even know was there, or that I want to say it had crossed my mind, but it was like, meh, it's not going to happen in this lifetime type thing. And this is one of my biggest takeaways is you taking the time, first and foremost, to print out all the worksheets from the coaching programs that you're in, to fill them out, but to really get in the habit of entertaining some of those desires and thoughts that you instantly dismiss because your brain's conditioned to protect you, right? And to tell you, hey, this is unfeasible. Please get back to your normal life. But that's how you don't change your life because you're not entertaining different thoughts, right? And that's what Kathrin teaches is why not? Why not me? And one of those thoughts was what I would really want is to be on stage, is to perform, it's to sing, it's to have a band behind me. And I don't know how that fits with my coaching, with my speaking, but this is what I would love to do. And I kid you not, a few weeks later, I remember it was like early May. A friend of mine called, and I've shared this story here on the show before, but let's piece it all together. A friend of mine called that manages a band in Boulder, Colorado. It's actually a band of Americans that play Brazilian music. And the singer was not going to be available for an upcoming event that they were doing. It was a graduation party. It was a 3-hour party to sing Brazilian music. And she said, I don't even know why I'm calling you. Check this out. Why would somebody say that? She said, I have a few other singers that I could reach out to that do this professionally and for a living. I don't even know why I called you, but I remember you had reached out before saying, hey, if you want me to sing at one of the events at a party, like I had planted the seed years before of whenever there's carnival, Brazilian carnival, and you need somebody to sing a song, hit me up or whatever if you need help. She's like, would you be interested? Like, is this a thing? It's paid. And I was like, yes, let me just double check the date and I'll do it. And then we go and I rehearse with the band. And I'm going to say that the response that they had, I was not expecting either, because these are professional musicians that have been doing this for decades. They were like, how do you not do this professionally? Like, how do you have such a perfect tone and good voice? And I even had people afterwards, when I shared this, say, oh yeah, they were just blowing smoke. They were just trying to be nice to you. But ever since then, looking back after all the different musical things I have done, no, they were not. No, they were not. I have a talent. And it's so crazy to say these things, right? Because it's like, you need to be humble. But how are you going to go out and have a business doing anything if you're going to be humble, quote unquote? Oh, I'm not that good of a coach, but yeah, hire me. No, I'm an amazing coach. I will get you visible and I will get you sales. So hire me. And then I started understanding I needed to have the same position and the same perception of me as a singer, but I digress. After that, I even had a Zoom call with the guitarist from that band, because I was like, tell me more. Like, this was such a fun experience. I want to maybe explore this. And how much would it cost to record an album? Because I had written some songs. And I had this conversation with the guy and he was like, you know what? That was nuts. That you became topic of conversation after a gig for us to talk about, hey, one day we did a gig with this chick that doesn't sing regularly and she was amazing. This was so crazy. He told me, you need to journal about this. Like, what? The musician comes and tells me, you need to journal about this as I'm doing this coaching program that encourages me to journal. Anyways, so that was that. And this is what I mean. My biggest takeaway from MBA: entertain the desires, right? Do things, and journaling and coaching and answering questions like that is one of them, to unearth desires that you don't even know you have, because that's what happened to me. So this is one of the biggest things that I got out of her program, was this came up, and it wouldn't have come up if I had just been going on with my regular life. I was digging, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted to do. Once I got the scholarship and I started the program, I started digging. And then I found this desire and I was like, okay, let's take some steps. And I didn't even have to take the steps because the steps came to me, but I had to say yes to the steps. So first thing, I entertained the desire. And same thing with me going for the transformation competition contest in Kathrin's program. I could have thought, I will never win. I don't have the time to make the video. Never mind. And I want to say there weren't even that many contestants. Maybe there were like 10 or 15, which it's a program with thousands of people. She has multi-million-dollar launches with these things. And for thousands of people to have 10 or 15 actually complete the program and record a before and after video, that's not that big of a ratio. But that's why she offers this, because she wants people to complete and to give her testimonials and to talk about the amazingness of the program. And I took that upon myself. I will complete this program and I will participate in this contest. And we'll see what happens. And then the other thing was, I asked her, after having the call with her, would you be on my show? And this has come with years of me asking people that have said no to me time and time again, or that haven't responded when you send pitches, right? I have trained myself to ask for what I want. And this comes from an early age. I have said this before. One of my favorite mottos is, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If I don't ask, how the heck do I expect to get? So I truly believe that me entertaining that thought and answering that exercise really set me up for my friend calling me. I sent the signals. I am open to musical opportunities. And there I was at an event for 3 hours singing with a band behind me. Come on. That's no coincidence. Anyway, so that happened. About a year later is when I saw this amazing speaker at a National Speakers Association, which was an amazing organization that I joined. Like, so many other events came together for me to then join this organization and see this speaker, which now come to think, I need to interview him on my show because he was pivotal in this journey. He calls himself a keynote artist, and I didn't even know those existed. And basically, he's a performer, but he speaks. So he doesn't just come on and sing songs like an artist or play songs because he plays the guitar. He speaks. He has a keynote, but he's also a performer. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. Because with that experience with the band, I then started thinking, okay, so what is it that I want? Do I want to then become a singer for a band and sing at restaurants and sing at parties, become like a wedding singer? Not really. But then what are the possibilities if I decide to become a singer? Right? So I started entertaining, and then came more questions like, I don't know. But then once I saw this man, his name is Mike Rayburn, and he has done 2 TEDx's. He has performed at Carnegie Hall. He's amazing. So here's the next thing. I will interview him. Because ever since then, I reached out to him. I had a Zoom call with him, and he's really pointed me in a great direction for me to become a keynote artist myself. But I don't want to go there just yet. After I saw him and then I connected with somebody else. It was like, Marta, I can help you record. That's when I produced my 3 singles in studio and then joined a program, which, by the way, I am interviewing my music launch mentor. I already reached out to him because this came up in one of the podcast episodes that I was recording. I was like, I need to interview Eli. So I emailed him and he's like, yeah, sure, that'd be amazing. So he's coming on the show, so stay tuned to talk to you about how he coaches people to launch his music. And he's a very accomplished musician, touring all over the US, releasing singles and albums all the time. Anyways, after that encounter with Mike, of me seeing him as a keynote artist and being like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. I then recorded my singles. I joined Eli's program. I released my very first single in August, and then learned a little bit more about, okay, I need to release my next one. And then now I released my first music video for my single, You Are Enough, which if you are on YouTube, which who isn't these days, go look for me, Marta Spurk. You will find my official artist channel on YouTube, and you can find my official first music video that I recorded at home, by the way. I was like, let's just do this. And I did it, and I had so much fun, and it looks awesome. And I have gotten great feedback. I will link that in the show notes for you to watch. Let me stop you right here and remind you about my free resource with 30 plus visibility ideas to expand your reach today. Get visible right now. Just go to martaspurk.com/visibility and download and access instantly my 30 plus visibility ideas guide to get you going, man. Get on out there, get on social media, get to speaking and get to networking to really make your brand and your business known. So far, 2 steps that have led me here. I started entertaining some desires that I didn't even know I had. And then I started taking steps, right? And as I started taking steps, more people started showing up for me. I started meeting these people. They came to my awareness, right? And then I didn't just, oh, cool, you came to my awareness. I entertained the connection. I entertained the relationship, right? So like I said, I reached out to Mike on LinkedIn and I said, I saw you speak and I would love to have a conversation with you. And obviously I asked, is this possible? If he had said, yes, I charge a certain amount of money for consultations, then I don't know if I would have taken that up or not, but I asked. I put myself out there. Same thing with the musician I connected with here in Colorado that is Brazilian. That was like, I have friends in Brazil that can help you record your things in studio. So let's do this. I was like, okay, cool. A few months later, I messaged him and I said, hey, so what's up with that thing that you told me? And then he connected me with the guy in Brazil. And then we moved forward. You know what I'm saying? So entertain the initial desire and then start doing something about it. And let me expand a little bit more on the doing something about it, because this is where I think people get hung up on if they take the first step of entertaining, is they think they need to know all the details. I need to know exactly from A to B what I'm doing every single hour of the day. And it has not been like that at all. I've just been taking steps. And then as I'm taking steps, I gain more clarity. Oh, this is the direction that I want to go. Oh, this is the next thing that I want to do. And I had set out for 2024 to be the year where I understand how I connect my music with my coaching. So to gain more clarity on that and give myself the space to explore my music as I am coaching still. And fresh off of New Year's, one of the co-authors in my book, The Empowered Woman's Path. So for those of you who don't know, I released a second book last year that was a collaboration book. I had 21 of my clients write a chapter in the book talking about their stories of empowerment. And one of them, her name's Carlene Wagner, she messages me because we are in a networking group. She's local here, so we're always seeing each other. She messages me and she said, hey, I'm actually writing a chapter in another collaboration book. And the organizer wrote a song for the book, for the theme of the book. And she is looking for somebody to create a melody for this song and to perform this song. Would you be interested? I know you're busy. And I know you just launched a collaboration book. Like she was already, hey, I know this is, I don't know, but what do you think? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Because it really connects the coaching with the music, and it's an amazing opportunity. Come to find out, I know who the lady is. I've been friends with her on Facebook. Her name is Genesis. And we talked and she's like, yes, you're the perfect person for this. And she was like, and I want you to be in the book. I want you to write a chapter in the book. And I was like, I already know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about my musical journey. Since I am coming in as an artist to sing the theme song for the book, which is Reigning Resilient Queen. So talking about being a resilient woman, being a resilient queen, I was like, yeah, this is AKA for empowerment. I'm in. And what I'm going to talk about in the book, in my chapter in this book, is exactly what I have not written in my previous books because I wasn't there yet. This is new stuff, right? Which is my musical journey. And a few days ago, I actually started my draft. And part of the premise of my whole chapter, the thesis of my whole chapter, and I'm going to quote myself here, which this is a draft, but this is the message that I have in my heart to share, is how did I jump from grieving a life that never was on my living room floor holding triplet babies to establishing myself as a professional singer in my late 30s? So this is what I want to say to you. The people that at times have seen me mid-journey of now being on TV, doing a TEDx, having a book, being this visibility queen, and did not follow my humble beginnings with network marketing back in 2016 with triplet babies. They think they have the impression, and how many times have you had this impression about other people that you follow? They have the impression that I have been doing this for forever, that I have always had things figured out, that I'm just performer extraordinaire and I love being in the spotlight and it's all good. However, my musical journey has been so recent and it was from scratch. And people have been seeing how there was nothing and then now there's something. And it's evolving. Pretty much ever since I did the national anthem for the stock show in 2020. There was a competition on the radio. I heard it. So here's the thing. I entertained that. So here's another story that proves my 2 steps. And I'm going to get to a third one before I wrap up, to really achieving my dreams and getting to where I am, whether it be getting Kathrin Zenkina on the show, becoming a professional singer, or whatever it is that I have accomplished. I could say the same for publishing my book. I could say the same for doing the TEDx. I have taken these same steps. And if you listen to the episode with Kathrin, you will see that they very much summarize her manifestation steps. I heard on the radio, so there I was doing my coaching thing. I had the podcast. This was in 2019. That's when I first started getting on TV and doing more keynote presentations. I heard on the radio, do you want to sing the national anthem at a rodeo? At the local country station. Fill this out, make a video, audition. And I did. And I won. And I sang in front of around 10,000 people in a full arena for a pro rodeo. And that was the beginning of it. I didn't then release a record the next day, but I started entertaining. So first thing, I put myself into the contest. Then I won the contest. Then I was officially bitten by the music bug. And I had a friend right after that hire me to sing the national anthem for a 4th of July special that same year because of my national anthem performance at the stock show. And then other events ensued. Other things happened. And then we get to Kathrin's program, me filling that out, me singing with the band, me recording my singles. All of these things have been happening. But it started again with me being like, what if I actually won this thing and sang the national anthem? And mind you, I wasn't even a citizen at the time because I became a citizen the summer of 2020. I was close, but I wasn't even a citizen. And I allowed myself to pursue this possibility because I love this country and I love to sing the anthem. It gets me every time. It's such a rush. So 2 steps, entertain the thoughts, start taking action towards it. Even if midway it'll change, you'll get clarity. Oh, that's not really what I wanted to do, but you needed to go that way to even realize it. And the third and final step is really detach from the result. I know you've heard this before and it's pissed me off, okay? When I hear coaches say, enjoy the journey, have fun, detach from the outcome. Screw you. I'm very interested in the outcome. But it's true though. It's not that you don't want the thing and then you detach. I'm going to enjoy the process of taking steps towards that because I don't even know if by the time I get there, I will want that goal. Maybe it'll change. Maybe new things, new developments are going to come that will change my vision. And that's okay because I'm going to be appreciative and I'm going to be enjoying the process at the same time. And I can tell you that ever since 2020, when I did that performance at the rodeo, this is what I have been doing with my music. Because I have been more preoccupied with my business, with my coaching, because that's where my income's coming from. But things are shifting in my mind where I'm like, what if I don't have to worry so hard about how my coaching goes and really just enjoy this and have fun with the music and see where this takes me? So this is where I'm going, friends. And thank you for following along because I'm learning as I go and you're seeing this. So here's the final thing I want to say about this is I have been very public about my musical journey and how things are developing and how opportunities are coming to me and how I feel insecure at times because this is new. But this is how we grow. And I love being visible and being honest about what's happening. And it's been fun, especially as I released my music video last week, to have people say, you started saying you were a singer and we started seeing you as a singer. But imagine that. How do you want people to see you a certain way if you don't even see yourself that way? So here's my parting question. How do you want to see yourself? That's where that journaling comes from. If you start becoming that, being that more, then people will see that and you will be it. And the roads will collide and you will be living a life that is more in alignment with what you really want than not. So here's to following your dreams, achieving your dreams, tweaking the dreams as you go, and really being a role model for the people around you that nothing is impossible, right? It's only impossible until you do it. So start doing it and start being more in 2024.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you've enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.